One that's not so well known, Homewood Public Library.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to
Huh.
know what's up with this because I don't think I've ever
Homewood.
heard this one before.
So, as I wish I still had the video of this, because this is actually one of the ghost stories I did for television way back, and I don't have this one. It got lost to time somehow. I don't know how. It was actually a very short story, so it wasn't very long, like some of the others I had done when I was working in TV. But I did do this one. And it surprised me even then that I was actually going to the Homewood Public Library. Of course, a lot of people think libraries are totally haunted. And if you walk into many of them, especially some around Birmingham, yes, you would probably sense there's a lot of spirits floating around. But in this case, this is actually a pretty new building. This was built in 1960. This could be argued to be similar to the Catherine Tucker Wyndham House. Maybe something on the property had happened years before, but that house was built new for Wyndham's family whenever they moved in. So, it's hard to explain what really causes these things to happen when they do happen. And this is one of those cases, the Homewood Public Library. It was built on an old farm in Homewood, just south, I believe, or to the west of downtown. I forget exactly where it's at. As a church, there was a farmhouse there and a small farm that was torn down around 1960. This was built as Church of Christ, I believe it was. Yeah. Church of Christ was built in 1960. The church left, and I think sometime either in 1984 is when the church left, and I think it became a library at that point, or maybe in 1985 or a little later after that, it became a library. During the day, which is, of course, the time I went there to do this story, I was not there at night. The library is fairly peaceful, but after dark, doors begin opening and closing. Unlocking when nobody else has unlocked them. Books will fly off the shelves, and that has been seen on security footage.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So there's actually some video of this happening. I have not seen it, but word is there is video out there. And during the snowpocalypse of 2014, so this was, I think it was January 2014, a woman wound up having to take refuge there. I don't know if she worked there or if she was just nearby and that was the best place she could get to. Trying to get home. Right. And she was stuck there overnight, and at one point heard a woman laughing hysterically, and nobody else was there. This was the only person in the building at the time.
Oh, okay.
But also in different instances, a woman has also heard screaming. A construction crew who was there after hours working on a sprinkler system also had to call police one night when they saw objects floating. Could have been some of the stuff that was flying off the shelves too. And there's no a clear reason why spirits are there. Similar to the Wyndham House, like why is Jeffrey in the Wyndham House? Nobody really knows why there are spirits in the Homewood Library, unless they just, like we were talking about before with Haint Blue, and because their foyer didn't have Haint Blue in it, a spirit meandered in. Who knows? That could very well be the reason behind it. But
there's somebody still owed late fees, and they're just upset about it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So.
Any symmetrical book stacking, by the way? I can't help it. This is so Ghostbusters and library and haunts.
There was always in my hometown of Geneva, the Emmenox Public Library there in town has always been rumored to be haunted. We would go in there as kids, and nobody wanted to go downstairs to that area. And it's an old library. It's a great library, but yeah.
Well, there's also talk too of. And I just don't know if just being old and it just gives off that vibe. But, there's also talk about the library, the Birmingham Library has haunts, and I think even the old Bessemer Library. So everybody's got that whole ghost haunting the library story that just goes on and on. But
I have covered the Lynn Henley Library in downtown Birmingham, and it's a former librarian, I believe it is. It's said to be haunting the place named Fant Thornley.
Did it have something to do with the elevator system?
Elevators will move up and down. I think a spirit or an apparition, something can be seen, a figure can be seen in the outside the main library in the stacks where they store books.
Right.
I believe that's the case too. I'd have to go back and rewatch what I had done. And a ghostwriter named Dr. Alan Brown from University of West Alabama went there and did a story on it specifically. And Fant Thornley, evidently, what tipped them off that it would be Fant Thornley is he was a smoker, And
Yeah, that's the smell. It smells like somebody smoking.
exactly,
Right?
and
Yeah.
they recognize
Yeah.
the smoke from a specific brand that he would smoke. So
Right.
that's why people thought that's exactly who it was. But
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that story too before about the Lynn Henley. Yeah. Library.
but evidently it's 9 spirits roam Homewood's library. I don't know how they counted them, but that's
Gotcha.
what they know. So, and also the adult section, which is pictured here, is where the sanctuary was for the church.
Okay.
So